Tonight on the King Omar Sharif Show, we're going to be talking about triggers. And not the ones on guns. We're going to be talking about those triggers that we can't clean up inside of our minds and inside of our hearts. It's important that we identify what triggers us and takes us to a dark place or a space that we don't want to be in. Not only is it important that we identify these triggers, but the people around us are able to recognize what triggers us. So let's clean these triggers up tonight, y'all. Let's talk about it.
Put your gun away, yo. Don't shoot. I don't want you to trigger me neither.
Don't trigger me. I'm just trying to be a bigger me. Cause I've been traumatized, but still I'ma rise. I'ma rise. This is where the drama dies. I'ma make the drama dead. Don't worry, my mama said they gon' make they karma spread. Keep growing like Farmer Fred. I got issues, get your tissues. A lot of us walked in his shoes. Daddy problems. Him and his daddy had some problems, never knew him. All I know is they made some columns for the goblins. A part of my heart they started robbing. We some thieves, help us please. We need some ease. Why these families be broken up before she conceives?
Hello, my beautiful people. I welcome you back to the King Omar Sharif Show, where we turn our bad into good situations. This show is all about you, your mind, your body, your soul. I believe if we can control those three things, we'll find happiness. And you know I gotta take a moment to say thank you for joining me tonight, for tuning into the channel. It really means a lot to me. Each and every Tuesday, I will be bringing some new content, some new ideas for us to discuss with ourselves, with our lovers, with our families, with our friends, with whoever, so we all can grow together. All right. And speaking of growth, I would love for you to hit that subscription button. Subscribe to the channel, y'all. It would mean a lot to me. Hit that notification bell, like, share, leave comments, do all these wonderful things, because when you grow, I grow. And it doesn't cost you a penny for a subscription, y'all. Just show some love. And I promise I will continue to show you love back each and every week right here on the King Omar Sharif Show. That's love. All right, so let's dive right into talking about triggers. All of us have triggers, all right? It could be words. It could be past trauma. It could be some type of confrontation. All of these different things could be triggers in our lives. It could be our upbringings. It could be something that happened in our families, all right? In our friendships. So there's many different avenues of life that we walk where we could come across triggers. Now, a trigger can only exist if it's something that we haven't overcome, okay? So if we have some type of trauma from our youth, which many of us do, me included, all right? Things that we haven't gotten answers to because we haven't figured out how to heal from our past. How to heal from that trauma, which becomes a trigger possibly for the rest of your life if you never address it, okay? So triggers are crazy and we need to get a grip on them because they can really play with our emotions, all right? So the reason why triggers need to be identified is so we can leave whatever it is in the past. And when it does come up, if somebody does say something that we don't like, or reminds us of that trauma or trigger, we could then calm down, say, okay, I know what's happening right now. I don't want to respond and react in a negative way because this trigger is what's pushing me to do that. Now, that's not always right, okay? You may want to defend yourself. You may be reminded of something that you know isn't right. But what you do once that trigger gets pulled is what ultimately is going to dictate your current mood and possibly your life and where you are moving forward, all right? Because oftentimes when we react, we don't really think about what we're reacting to before we react. We just react. Boom, you gone. Boom, 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 bam, 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 bam. We're reacting and we're trying to get even or hurt the person that pulled that trigger. And even though it doesn't make us feel better at the time, in our mind, we're thinking that it does, okay? And we're very emotional and just going crazy. So me personally, I just wanted to make this shirt, of course, don't trigger me. I also put on the bottom, don't shoot, don't shoot, all right? That's very important because if somebody wants to pull their trigger out on you, oftentimes you're gonna go into this position, right? So as a reminder, don't shoot, please, okay? I am somebody just like you are somebody. And we all got things that we need to overcome and progress from. And this channel, this show, tonight's topic is all a part of that growth, all right? So as I was saying, me personally, I recently got into it with somebody that I really care about because they opened up to me about certain things from their past and their trauma. And then me, in my trauma, said something that I shouldn't have said. And I love this person. And it just wasn't an act of love how I handled the situation. So right away, I just want to apologize to you here on the show. I'm sorry. I really need to identify my brokenness and the things that still harm me. So as much as I'm here in front of y'all each and every week, I'm growing along with you. We're discussing my experiences and others' experiences right here live on this show each and every week. And I share these things, and oftentimes this is how a lot of my discussions on the show will come up. So that's why it's important for us to recognize what our pain is and put that pain in a place where it doesn't come staring somebody else in the face. Okay, because that's not right. And even if that person did or said something to me or you, which put their finger on the trigger, it didn't necessarily have to get pulled at that time. Okay? So a big, I apologize to you, a big, I'm sorry to you. And, you know, regardless of your history with someone, you're either gonna be good for each other or bad for each other, okay? You're either gonna be something that's good for your body, mind, and spirit, mind, body, and soul, or something poisonous to each other. And that's something that you guys need to figure out. That's something that we all need to figure out. Is the company that I keep around me triggering me to take me away from my peace and my happiness and where I want to be? So that's something that we really need to figure out. Because again, that person has trauma, that person has trauma, that person has trauma, they have triggers, she has triggers, he has triggers. Everybody has something that's inside of them that could come up and come out at the wrong times. So something that can help with us being able to conduct ourselves better in a more compassionate way, in a more caring way, in a more loving way, is for us to face our triggers in the face. But don't squeeze the trigger, okay? That's the thing. We don't want to hurt ourselves even more, or the people that we love that are around us. So whether you're trying to involve your faith, which is something that I will always say is very important to do in everything that you do, always try to grow that relationship with the Creator. It's always greater. But you should also seek some type of help if it's so traumatic where you're like, you know what, I don't feel like I'm gonna ever get over this. go seek help. Go speak to a therapist. Go speak to someone who may be able to further along this healing. Because if this is something that happened when you were 10 and you're living with it at 30, 40, 50, and 60, and it shows up in your life whenever it does, you're never going to have any ease in your life. So therapy and speaking to someone about your trauma is something that can be very healing and soothing to your soul. Now, a lot of us like to hide our trauma and never speak about our trauma because it's something that makes us very uncomfortable. Even this channel makes people feel uncomfortable as they're watching. I would love for you to feel empowered. I would love for you to feel inspired. I would love for you to be motivated. But oftentimes we don't like to look demons, or we don't like to look our troubles eye to eye. And that can be very harmful because you're hiding it and you're denying it, but it's something that's always going to be there, like I mentioned, and pop up when it does. So please go and seek some type of therapy, psychiatry, whatever it may be, to try to heal from your trauma. Another thing that may be able to help is some type of readings, okay? Try to dive into books. There's a lot of self-help and self-love books out there that could really make us look ourselves in the face and say, man, that really just spoke about something that I've been dealing with my whole life. And it just allowed me to open up the door to self-love so I can love on myself. Reading. We spend way too much time scrolling, watching TV, doing whatever, spending our time out somewhere, or whatever you may be doing to keep yourself occupied so you're not thinking about those triggers in your life. But that doesn't stop the triggers from getting pulled. Okay, so really diving into bettering ourselves is really the key to becoming better and being able to love ourselves and appreciate ourselves and have self-care for ourselves. So read those self-help books, whatever your issue may be, Google it. Go onto the internet and say, hey, I'm dealing with this. What would be a good book for me to read? Join a book club or something like that. I'm sure there's book clubs out there where you can speak to others where they can be like, hey, this book really did this for me. And if this is something that you're dealing with, then maybe it could do something for you too. Now, because a lot of us aren't healed and we go and meet new people, we start new relationships, that's only going to bring that trouble into the new person, into the new environment that you're in. Okay? So that's why it's important to try to clean ourselves up so we can start healthy relationships. So we're not having a trauma war. You got your traumas and I'm up against that. I have my traumas and you're up against that. So when we're doing that, we got this trauma war and it's two people that aren't healed and really can't help each other. And instead of us sharpening each other, we're just stabbing each other. We're trying to shoot at each other, figuratively, all right? So we gotta heal up before we go and try to start new relationships. I think that's very important, whether it's a romantic relationship or just a friendship, all right? Because we can't bring that drama and trauma and put it onto somebody new, because after a while, that relationship will get damaged as well. This is another good one. I believe that being able to stay away from harmful situations, okay? Now, a lot of us feel like we have capes on our backs and we want to protect our loved ones. We want to be there for everybody if they need us. Most of us, right? I know I'm that type of person. But we can't fight everybody else's battles when we have our own battles that we're trying to win within, okay? So if I got a cousin or I got a friend or I got somebody who was just a drama person, They love it, they welcome it, they're very confrontational, they love debating, they love arguing. If I have that type of person in my life and I love that person, I can't be jumping every time something happens. Because if they're allowing it to happen, why am I allowing myself to be in that harmful situation? You heard of the person that comes and talk about how the person that they're with did so many horrible things to them. They're cheating on them, they're putting hands on them, they're talking bad to them. And then here you are, dun da da da, Superman, Superwoman, and you're sitting there going through all these emotions with that person. And then on that night, you like, yep, you done, right? And they're like, yeah, I'm done. I'm finished with this person. As soon as you leave, they be right back doing the same. Yeah, you know, da 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 da. You know I care about you. I know you love me. Next day, you ain't worth a nothing. So it's just like an endless cycle. So why would I keep putting myself in a harmful situation? That's not healthy for me. It's definitely not healthy for that individual who's living that life. So just make sure that you're trying to help people that's trying to help themselves. I think that's a good way of putting it. And if you're that person who has somebody trying to put all this negative and bad energy on you, of course you got to set your boundaries and you got to say, hey, this isn't for me anymore. All right? And that would really make somebody realize, hold on, what I'm doing and what I've done is about to make me lose somebody that I really love and somebody that I really care for. Now, I could be prideful and in my own feelings and like, you know what, forget that. All right, bye. But if you really, really care about somebody, you're gonna be like, you know what, I'm so sorry and I don't wanna lose you. Relationship or friend. If it's somebody that you love, you don't wanna lose that person. You don't wanna keep squeezing triggers. Okay? So that's why it's important for us to heal and then deal with those issues. Or should I say deal, then heal from those issues before we try to get into these relationships, before we start getting messy with the people that we love. So when we're dealing with triggers, it's really all about being able to recognize your emotions that you're feeling. Once somebody has that trigger in their hand and it's aiming at you, how you respond to it is you being able to recognize your emotions and not be out of control, which will allow many more peaceful situations, what will allow so much peace in your life. Okay? So that's very important as well. So just be able to just try to control your emotions, do some deep breathing, say a prayer, meditate, walk away, do those kinds of things when you feel that rush coming on. So once you feel that rush coming inside of you, maybe you need to rush away. And then when things calm down, you talk about it with that person in a different energy. Also, we're gonna have a trigger challenge. I think that we should try to find a book this week. Go on whatever sites you can go on and try to find a book for something in your life that you're struggling with. Now, your trigger could be a multitude of things. So I would love for you to identify what that trigger is, and I would want you to go and find a book that you're going to be able to dedicate some time to and read that can help you with that trigger, all right? And that'll keep us away from off of everything else that I mentioned with your distractions. And if you get in front of something that's going to better you, that's really upliftment. And that's really you saying, I want to make a change for the better. All right? Also, we're gonna have some toast time with the king. And tonight's toast is gonna be us bettering ourselves, us wanting to grow, us wanting to close doors on our past traumas and heal from them, us now not allowing others to put us in a place or space that we do not deserve to be in or need to be in. This is us just being stronger. This is us finding our power, our super strength, our healing powers. Allow medicine, right? Mental medicine, spiritual medicine to seep deep within us. This is what it's all about, y'all. Mind, body, and soul control. And we need to control our triggers. I thank y'all so much for watching tonight. And raise your glass and take that sip of something good. Drink life. And that's love. This episode of the King Omar Sharif Show is presented solely for educational and entertainment purposes only. It is not intended as a substitute for the advice of a physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or any other qualified professional. Thanks again for watching tonight's show, and I would really appreciate you again subscribing to the channel, showing some love, and joining me here each and every Tuesday night. And there's so much more to come and so much more to see, like this video and this video. That's love, y'all. See you next week.